Well, howdy, howdy, howdy. Finally, senior citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and all of our non-binary friends, and welcome to this brand new day. And remember, no matter who you are valid. Thumbs up for that. I had a doctor's appointment today, and we are having, I guess, walkthroughs about the curtain rods, except I went in to talk to one of the caseworkers today just to say hi and talk about something else. But I brought up the whole room thing because I had the doctor's appointment. I wasn't going to be here for a time. And he said, if you're not having problems with your shower curtain, I keep saying that, with your curtain rod, then they're not an issue. So I'm having no problems. As you can see behind me, I've taped some of my curtains to the wall because otherwise so much light comes through that I can't sleep. So I never move my shower. I am just dedicated to saying shower curtain. I never move my curtain rods. So I haven't worried about it. I went to my appointment. I've come back. Yay. So anyway, I just thought I'd mention that. Yeah, we talked about this, that, and the other. There are no results for my ultrasound of my veins at the moment, but that's because the results went to my cardiologist. I need to make an appointment with my cardiologist to find out the results. So, gotta do that, and we'll do so. But he looked at various things, and it was pretty routine. He also checked out the progress of healing on 2 of the shaved areas on my back and took a look at the scab that remains on the one spot that's left and says it should be coming off in the next couple of days, so not worried. Yay! Also, I had mentioned the other day that I hesitated on breaking this deck up because I hate wasting things. But then, if you'll notice, it says jumbo there. And when they say jumbo, oh my God, do they mean jumbo? Now, I understand. If I had extreme issues with seeing things or seeing close up in general, this would be a godsend. But with this eye, I can see pretty good close up. And with this eye, I can see pretty good far away. It's just I can't see either way in the other. And I have astigmatism in both, so yay. So I can see this real good with this eye. So jumbo cards, I don't care about tearing this deck apart. And by tearing up, I don't mean tearing. I mean using it for various things. Just thought I'd mention. Also, because it's up here, what was it? Within the last week, I'd written a poem of sorts about this cosmic horror. Well, oh my God, what's the other word? It's existential horror. Esh-Lyal. Because somebody had put a picture of a nasty looking place with just a decrepit broken door, otherwise black doorway. And it just said free hugs with an arrow pointing inside. So for me, I came up with the idea of the character of Esh-Lyal, who's made out of like dried sticks and bones and just really a frightening looking individual. Because, you know, they're an existential type horror. Only they just want to give people hugs. And they give really good hugs. They're great hugs. You feel fully accepted and loved. And you won't die. Esh-Lyal will not kill you. Esh-Lyal will ask for some blood. You'll hardly miss it. But they will have to ask for some blood because they do need to survive. But even though they've got their sharp, cracked teeth, their thin, dry, stretched skin, they're made of sticks and old, dried bones, oh, they just give great hugs. Eshliel, sticks and bones, thin, dry, stretched skin, sharp, cracked teeth. Eshliel listens to you and cares. An accepting hug given. Just a tiny bit of blood, no more than a pint or two, asked in return. Yay, Eshliel! And on a different subject entirely, I was thinking about this game. Because I've talked about this game, and I can't remember if I mentioned this part exactly, because it is a one game, one thought, one story. Your character, if you do it, then it's done. Your character does not need to advance, doesn't need to go on to another story. There is a thing. You're trying to collect 3 fragments, and each monster has a 1/3 chance of carrying a fragment. And as soon as you get 3 fragments, then you have to take on the overlord of the dungeon. Now, all the monsters are random, and you roll randomly on the monster's treasure, and on a 5 or 6, it's a fragment. So you can get the fragments fast. And then for the overlord, you roll randomly. But I was looking at that, and you don't really need to even make a map. Even though it has map stuff in it, because it's simple enough, you can do what the game Harper's Quest and Harper's Quest 2 does. With both Harper's Quest and Harper's Quest 2, you get to decide how many dungeon rooms the dungeon is going to be. And then for each square of the dungeon, you just do the encounters and find out what's in the room and the treasures and the traps, and then when you resolve everything, you go to the next room in the line. A lot of games can really boil down to that. This can easily boil down to just a dungeon is a series of encounters. You don't even need to draw a map. All you'd really have to do is for each box is record what type of room it is, a room or a corridor, what you found in the room, and then there are specialty rooms like hallowed places and forges. Write down what it is, and then the next encounter. It would not take away from it. And in fact, I kind of like that idea. Now, I started thinking about, I've lost the rules. Where did I put those? I left them in the other room. And by other room, I mean the bathroom. And I'm already recording and I don't want to stop, so I'm just going to have to talk about this. In the rules for the game Rune Master, it is a 1 to 4 person game. And it's kind of a tower defense game. But if you want to play solo, you can play the other characters, any number of them, up to 4. Since it's a 1 to 4 person game, you can have, they recommend 2 to 4. 4, you're going to have a pretty good shot of winning. 3, that's a challenge. 2, well, that's an extreme challenge. And they say in the rules, it was not designed for one player. As in just one guardian trying to defend everything. It was not designed for that. They do not recommend it. At which point, I started thinking, there are all sorts of challenge videos I watch. Can I beat this game using only this? Can I beat this game using only this? One that I watched was a person had a game mod that replaced every single monster with Cazadors. A Cazador is a gigantic wasp-like creature. In the game, they hit like a Mack truck. If you survive, you're likely to be poisoned. And if you don't have anti-venom, you're gonna die. They hit fast and hard. And if you're lucky, you only come across one of them at a time. He played the game normal weaponry, normal everything else, except every single thing that wasn't human was a Cazador. In just the part of the videos I watched, he died over 100 times. Because over would come the Cazador, and then they would usually flip and strike. Their stinger would go whack into his cranium. Insta-kill. Just from it rushing up and hitting. Well over 100 deaths. Was the game New Vegas designed to be played with Cazadors replacing every single monster? No. Do you think Tim Kaine, who actually has a channel and talks about stuff, and he was a goofy looking guy back in the day when he was doing Fallout, I just thought I'd mention, but would he recommend playing any Fallout game replacing all of the monsters with something like Cazadors? I have a feeling he'd say no. And yet, I watched the guy. It must have taken him forever, but he beat New Vegas while everything that wasn't human was a Cazador. Some things he simply could not do. There's one quest where you're trying to go up onto a mountain where most of the monsters are Nightkin, and Nightkin are super mutants, and super mutants are just gigantic, big, burly creatures that when they use melee weapons and hit you, if you're not prepared, you will not be alive. But all of them had been replaced with Cazadors that were invisible. And some of them carried energy weapons. So he just decided all of those were out. And he did not do any of those quests. Luckily, that was an optional quest line. But he did it. He actually beat the game with just Cazadors. So the game Rune Masters does not recommend that you play using only one Guardian, because the game was not designed for that. But boy, wouldn't that feel good if you did manage to win? And I just thought I'd mention that. Let me see if I've got anything else up here. Actually, not really. I just gone to the doctors. I've talked about the things that I've been thinking of. I have, of course, been thinking of other things, like my solo RPG setting, which is also just a part of my Inside-Outside Razor's Edge setting, which also involves the cryptid setting and the cosmic horrors. So, yeah, I've still been working on that, trying to keep characters and individuals in my mind. And it all started because I thought of one character, Jimmy Lane Baker, who becomes a cryptid of the 13th kind. And the 13th kind of cryptid is a cryptid that there's two kinds of cryptids in the world. There's naturalized cryptid, where your parents were cryptids, and there's expressed cryptids, where you started off as human, and then your cryptid genome expressed, and you're no longer exactly human. You're a cryptid now. The thing is, when that happens, anywhere from just a tiny sliver to a huge chunk of who you were and what you were is sectioned out like a slice of a cake and is replaced with cryptid instinct, telling you instinctually everything that you need to be the kind of cryptid you have expressed as. This can damage you severely to the point that some people are not really people anymore. They're almost just robots, slaves to their cryptid instincts. And some have very slight instincts and may even barely even know it. And some, like the 13th kind, have none. They come through the change with a cryptid body, with cryptid requirements, and they are not altered up here at all. The problem is, when this happens, the 13th kind of cryptid has to devour human beings to survive. Because a cryptid of the 13th kind cannot absorb the ambient cryptid energy, the only way to get it is through human meat. And unfortunately, human beings with our quantum knotting, that emits a form of energy that just infiltrates into our meat. And when cryptids eat that, it is a very acceptable replacement for that ambient cryptid energy. So there are some cryptids that have to devour human beings on whatever schedule because of their own genetic defects, and the 13th kind of cryptid who they have to devour human beings or die. And Jimmy Lane Baker, with an absolutely, completely, 100% unaltered human mind, is in a completely altered body, because Jimmy Lane Baker was about 5'6", wiry little guy. But he also liked to just play on his computer, read books. He drank a little beer and some wine occasionally. Would go out with his friends every once in a while. Was freelance welding. When he came through it, he was a 6'5" burly type. He Sasquatch type. Only he had to eat human beings. And unfortunately, with him, he needs to eat a human being every single week or starve. 13th kind of cryptids generally do not survive even 5 years. Not from environmental damage or anything like that, but because they just can't take doing what they have to do to survive until they can't. So Jimmy Lane Baker is the very first cryptid that I thought of that started the entire cryptid thing that I work on now, which has which has brought me, there we go, such cryptids as Malik, who is that statue who is a victim that must victimize to survive and is not given a choice. If they don't do it, they're kicked out of the driver's seat and the body will take over and eat. Yay! Let me check the time because I've probably been doing this for too long. It is 19 minutes and change. So hey, call to action and blatant engagement farming. If you could like, comment, share, subscribe, that would be very cool. Thumbs up, making sure to share only with people that you think would enjoy watching an old man yammer on about largely inane subjects in a thoroughly incomprehensible fashion. That would be very cool, thank you. And for each one of my Patreon patrons, you are beautiful and awesome people. You help me out immensely. Thank you so very, very much. Yay! When you look in the mirror, you're looking at someone who is beautiful and awesome. For everybody that leaves me a comment, you too are beautiful and awesome in your own way. I read every comment that YouTube shows me. I thumbs up and heart each one that YouTube allows, and I answer as many as my nerve compression will let me do. It can take me 2 days and more to sometimes answer a question. A comment. So if you're expecting an answer and I haven't after a couple days, don't give up. You never know. And of course, if you could check out my community tab, I sometimes talk about important things and usually just thoroughly foolish stuff and the like. But it's cool and fun and I enjoy it. Yay! I get to drink some cola. Yippee! Anyway, though, so I'm going to edit, render, upload. I'm going to take care of myself. I'm going to play video games. I'm going to take care of myself. Oy vey. Last night, one of the things that I discovered when I talked to the doctor that took x-rays of my foot, I don't just have bone spurs on the back of my heel where your Achilles tendon hooks up, or it pulls, because your bones are malleable. They will do things under stress. So if you stress with one tendon pulling, it's going to build up bone there. Underneath your heel, there's another spot where a tendon attaches. Guess who has a bone spur there? Last night, the bottom of my heel, where that tendon attaches, it had been like someone had been smacking it with a hammer. It throbbed with every beat of my heart. Oh my God. So it's not just my heel that is an issue with bone spurs. I'm walking on one as well. Life is fun. And it is. Anyway, I hope that you can get done the things that you would like to get done. That would be very, very cool. Definitely a thumbs up on that. And if you can't, please do not beat yourself up. That will not help you get it done better next time. And you deserve better. So, until we meet again, you take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side. And that is indeed a very good thing. If you've watched to the very end, if you could type dungeon into the comments to let me and the YouTube algorithm know that people actually do watch the videos, that would be very, very cool. A definite thumbs up. Greatly, greatly appreciated. And at the very, very end of the video, when nobody at all is watching except for maybe 1 or 2 people, thumbs up and thank you. Yeah, I'm getting ready to do reactions again here real soon. I just had so many appointments, so many schedule disruptions. It has been, my brain has been all in an uproar. Once things settle down in the next day or 2, I'm going to be starting up reactions, posting both on the reaction channel and then mirroring here after about a week. So thumbs up on that. Yay! Anyway, I just need to, I don't have to reach over and stop with a button. I'm not using my tablet, but I do need to move my mouse pointer over and click on a screen button instead, which I can do. So you take care and talk to you later.